Have you heard of the Silk Road? That legendary network of trade routes connecting the East and West for centuries? For a long time, it was controlled by a mighty force, the Parthian Empire. After battling Rome and defeating the successors of Alexander the Great, the Parthians established a vast empire stretching across the Middle East and Southwest Asia. They were traders, warriors, and builders. And they were also miners. Deep within their territory, in what is now modern-day Iran, they dug into the earth, not for gold or silver, but for something just as precious: salt. Imagine it's 700 years ago. You're standing at the edge of a mine in the heart of this sprawling empire. The air is thick with the scent of salt and earth. A miner, is about to begin his day's work. What was his story? We'll never know for sure. Perhaps he was a local from the nearby town of Zanjan, and this mine, this hole in the ground, was as familiar to him as his own home. He might have worked alongside his brothers, his father, his neighbors, sharing jokes and stories as they chiseled away at the glittering walls. Or maybe he was a stranger in a strange land. The Parthian Empire was huge, encompassing parts of modern-day Turkey, Afghanistan, Pakistan, even Russia. He could have traveled from any of its far-flung corners, drawn by the promise of work. Was he lonely? Did he miss his family? We can only guess. He had long hair and a beard, common for the time. He was dressed for the cold, damp conditions of the mine in leather shoes and a warm woolen cloak. The fine salt dust got everywhere, even into his ears, but he was prepared, carrying a small stick specifically to clean them. He was an ordinary man, living an ordinary life, unaware that he was about to become an extraordinary link to the past. One day, the familiar ground beneath his feet gave way. A tremor, a collapse, and in an instant, his world went dark. The very salt he was there to extract became his tomb. It entombed him, preserving him perfectly. The salt drew the moisture from his body, mummifying him naturally, a process so effective that it kept him almost exactly as he was for 17 centuries. His leather boots, his woolen trousers, the tools in his belt, they were all frozen in time with him. He wasn't alone. Over the years, this same mine, which we now call the Cherabad Salt Mine, would claim other victims. To date, the remains of at least 6 individuals have been found, earning them the collective name, the Saltmen of Iran. These are not the linen-wrapped mummies of Egypt, prepared for the afterlife by priests. These are accidental time capsules, ordinary people caught in a moment of tragedy. The first salt man was discovered in 1993, his head and one booted foot sticking out of the earth after a modern mining operation. He still had his long white hair and beard. The level of preservation was astonishing. Scientists could see the details of his face, the texture of his skin. He was wearing a gold earring, suggesting he might have been a person of some importance, not just a common laborer. Radiocarbon dating placed him in the Sasanian period, a later empire that succeeded the Parthians. This discovery opened a brand new, incredibly detailed window into ancient Persian life. What can these saltmen tell us? So much more than you'd think. The first saltman, for instance, had suffered a massive blow to the head before he died and fell into the mine. Was it an accident or something more sinister? Another saltman had a full stomach, and by analyzing its contents, researchers could figure out his last meal, goat or lamb, and some sort of bread. It was a simple, hearty meal, the kind a working man would eat. It's these tiny personal details that make history come alive. We're not just looking at bones, we're looking at people. One of the most remarkable finds is Saltman 4, a teenager, probably around 16 years old. When he was discovered, he was almost perfectly preserved. His tunic, his trousers, his leather belt with an iron knife still attached, it was all there. It's like he just fell asleep yesterday. Genetic analysis of the saltmen has revealed even more secrets. By studying their DNA, scientists have been able to trace their ancestry and even identify ancient diseases they may have carried. For example, analysis of the intestines of one of the mummies revealed tapeworm eggs, giving us the earliest evidence of this kind of parasite in the region. This isn't just a story about ancient history. It's a story about ancient health and diet. The Cherabad mine is a treasure trove. Every artifact pulled from the salt adds another piece to the puzzle of what life was like in these powerful ancient empires. We've found textiles, leather goods, and tools, all in incredible condition. The patterns on their clothes, the way their shoes were made, the type of metal used for their knives, each detail tells a story of the technology, artistry, and daily routines of the time. These aren't grand monuments or royal decrees. This is the history of everyday people, preserved by a freak accident. Studying the saltmen is a delicate process. Once removed from their salty environment, they begin to decay. So they are kept in specially designed climate-controlled cases at the National Museum of Iran in Tehran. It's a race against time for scientists to study them and extract as much information as possible before these precious links to the past are lost forever. They use advanced techniques like CT scans and 3D modeling to look inside the mummies without physically damaging them. It's a blend of archaeology and cutting-edge medical science. So the next time you sprinkle a little salt on your food, think of the salt men of Iran. Think of the vast empires that rose and fell, the miners who toiled deep within the earth, and the incredible accidental preservation that allows us to meet them face to face 1700 years later. They are a poignant reminder that history isn't just about kings and battles. It's about the ordinary people whose lives and sometimes deaths write the true story of our shared past. Their silent testimony, spoken through salt-cured skin and woolen clothes, is one of the most powerful stories archaeology has ever unearthed. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of history. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Saltmen. See you in the next video.